So we are back after a long break from recording. Back to the regular scheduled programming. I'm here with Pat, my co-host, who over the past few weeks has gotten married. Congratulations.
Oh, thanks, man.
We did a riveting interview with The Story So Far's producer, Sam Pura, in your absence. Definitely our most downloaded episode by a factor of like 6, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but I'm glad you're back, man. I missed you. How are you?
I miss you as well. I'm doing well. We tried to record this on a Tuesday night, and then we went to bed instead, and we're up in the morning, bright and early, bringing you content, just churning it out. So the vibes are strong. The coffee has been brewed, and we're here to talk about the Zark party, among other things. We must have been having fun at the wedding when we wrote that down, just because Jesse's hometown is adjacent to the Ozarks. So we'll more on that later. But how have you been for the last 3 weeks?
There's been a lot going on for sure, career-wise and whatnot. Whoa. But just mainly busy until the past 2 days, and I don't know what to do with myself when I'm not busy, so I'm kind of freaking out and trying to figure out what to do.
You found this wonderful work-life balance where you're never enjoying yourself.
I saw a quote. It was a meme that it was like, do something that you love and you'll kind of just never stop doing it ever.
Yeah. That's what it's come down to. And when you're not doing it, you're wanting to do it. So in a weird way, not to joke about the negatives all the time, but it's very exciting. You've fallen into your podcast moods, and it's very exciting. But I will say this: we had a block of mail held when we went on our honeymoon to Vancouver, Canada, which was lovely. More on that later.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear about it. Megan said she wanted to hear about it. She might actually listen to this episode.
Well, there's a first time for everything. Jessie won't. I can just tell you up front that she won't. Anyway, we held this block of mail, and there's a lot, believe it or not, more than just wedding mail. So, and I know it's weird because everyone always trashes this segment, but here we are, and here I am with all this snail mail in my apartment, almost running out of room, cubic feet in the actual apartment because of how many blocks of letters there are. But we're going to do a quick mailbag to start off this episode. And like we always say, we'll stop reading them when you stop
sending them.
Exactly. So I guess we might as well just dive in. What do you say?
I'm ready.
All right. Dustin from Wesleyville, PA, asks, sugar cones or waffle cones?
Cup all day, every day.
Whoa.
100%. Yeah. A cone.
It's coming in hot. Any particular reason?
Have you ever experienced the troubles of a mustache?
I can't say I've ever had one long enough that would affect my lifestyle choices, how I go about things. So I'm going to say no, but I could kind of see why you would develop different eating habits.
Because I don't know if you noticed the bonfire after our wedding, everyone in that group was eating s'mores except myself, because those goddamn toasted marshmallows never get out of a mustache.
Oh. I mean, there's Parks and Rec jokes about Ron eating chunks of meat weeks later, but I always figured that was overblown. Is there a do not munch list when you have a mustache?
I got gum stuck in it once, and I had to use peanut butter to get it out.
Oof. I really love gum stuck in stuff, wives' tales. Like, there's a cool array of wives' tales about most things.
The peanut butter works. It blew my mind. It was the first time I've ever tried it.
Yeah. I don't know how many trial and error foods were put in people's hair before that, but I love that they landed on one that works, and I love that it's peanut butter. God bless wives' tales.
But with the ice cream, I usually go cup. I like to kind of like stir it with a spoon until it's kind of like milkshake consistency as well.
I get that.
And a lot of like these really trendy ice cream places are like really hard ice cream, and I just can't vibe that shit. So I'll get a cup, let it melt, stir it up. I'll get a cup, let it melt, start up, start up, start up. I'll get a cup, let it melt, start up, start up.
I'll get a cup, let it melt, start up.
It's a big debate in my household. My mom doesn't mind the occasional DQ soft serve. There was a Dairy Queen in Lawrence Park, as you know.
Love soft serve.
Or no, maybe my brother likes that, and my mom needs the hardcore, like, made hard ice cream, which is tough to get right. It's tough to get to the consistency where you can slice through it with a spoon, but it also still has, like, the integrity of the scoop. It's a tough balance with that particular dessert, I gotta say.
What about you though? Sugar or waffle?
I'm gonna go waffle.
God, you heathen.
I know. Actually, no. I'm going to totally defend my choice to just have a cone that exists. Heathen's a bit strong, actually. I was so naturally Midwest polite to be like, well, you've got a point calling me a heathen eating my ice cream out of waffle cones. No, I'm going to totally stand my ground on that one and say I'm going to choose it. And over the weekend, my little brother from Big Brothers Big Sisters, it was like 9 a.m. and he's asked if we could get ice cream. And I didn't see any good logic as to why we shouldn't. So we did. And he had a waffle cone for the first time. The very nice lady there's a neighborhood, Oakley, here in Cincinnati, a nice ice cream parlor where the lady not only showed him what a waffle cone was, but that you could dip it into things. So he got the giant sprinkles, and mint chocolate chip was his choice. I went with like a raspberry chocolate chip type situation. And he was very his mind was blown. He convinced me that my Jessie, my wife.
Your wife? How weird does that sound?
It's honestly, I love it. Actually, I'm just going to go from the ice cream thing right into this.
It's
I hated
amazing.
telling people that I had a fiance because it was almost like,
I know.
One, you were telling them a story, and two, you were it felt like you were inviting them to engage you in some, no pun intended, obviously, but in some kind of conversation about the story. And it's like, no, man, this is just technically what the term is for it.
Right, yeah.
And I was just and I've always wanted to scream, we're talking about my wife, at somebody. I don't know. It just carries a lot more weight, and it's only one syllable, and it doesn't beg the person you're talking to seem interested in your life.
Also, fiance sounds pretentious. It's when people say croissant rather than croissant. It's like, dude.
Yeah. Or they make a point to let you know that they've pronounced it euro or something.
Fiance.
Yeah. But it's yeah. Or when you're calling about a reservation or something, it's just yeah, no, my wife had called earlier, but it's just more conversational.
Right.
So is it different? Yes. Is it better in so many ways? Certainly.
Well, let's get back to that later. We got a lot of mail.
Oh, right. Much. I've picked the best of the best, of course. Okay, Sharon from Redlands, California. The question is, care to elaborate?
On the cup? What? What's with these conditional questions? Or not conditional, but sequential? I don't know.
What do you have against them is my question. That's my follow-up. You got something?
Did Dustin
do you care
and
to elaborate?
Sharon, did they collaborate on this question
I
from
think
across the
it's
country?
highly unlikely that someone from Wesleyville, PA went to, well, I think it's highly unlikely that somebody from Redlands, California and Wesleyville, PA were conspiring to make your Wednesday morning a little harder. But I'll start to filter out the open-ended questions in the future. So just for the record, you don't care to elaborate?
No.
Okay. Well, you heard it here, folks. Everybody, the jury will take that into their notes, and, we'll take that. That's cool. You're digging your own grave. You're choosing your own route, and we got to respect you for it. This is Zane from Zanesville, Ohio.
Ooh.
What's your skincare routine? Because I want some.
Want some of my skin?
He didn't elaborate. He just kind of left that one hanging out there, open for interpretation. I don't know if he wants
Oh my God.
whatever lotion you're using, but it's not impossible that he would. I don't know. Hey,
Want some skin?
you've got fans. That's something you're not short on. We're not short on snail mail, and we're not short on fans of Tom's body.
Creepy ones.
Quite.
Well, I'll tell you a quick little story. I showered later on in the day yesterday, which I'm usually a morning shower guy.
It's just the type of man I am.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. And it was like 40 some degrees yesterday in Denver. And obviously it's very dry. So when I was trying to sleep, my skin was so dry that I was like itchy as shit, and I wouldn't stop moving and scratching. So I kind of got kicked out of bed and I slept on the couch last night because I was so itchy.
Oof.
So I could have used some lotion. So Zane, if you have any recommendations, I'll take some referring to recommendations, not your skin.
Oh, nice. Well, it's good to clarify, of course.
Yeah.
I that is something I found myself Googling recently. Just like, is there any really simple stuff to take care of the old epidermis? And most of it was just like hydrate and get enough sleep and don't smoke. And I was like, cool. Those are,
That's where most things start, for sure. Not
right,
bad
exactly.
advice, but-
There's like pretty simple: eat plants, sleep enough, and don't dump too many toxins into your body type.
Right.
It really gets you started down a lot of good paths.
But if you have a Trader Joe's in your area, I'm not sure if they have those in Cincy, but there is a lotion there that Megan uses called a Midsummer Night's Cream.
I'm already super in love with this product.
And it's Megan's really particular about what she puts in on her body, and that passes.
She's an herbalist
the
for
test.
those who are just joining us.
Yeah, so that passes the test. It's got a good consistency. I dig it. So food for thought.
Yeah, I believe we have one more question that we've chosen from this week's batch.
Okay,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, this one is from Larold in Lexington, and his question.
Just laughed at his name.
Yes. Couldn't choose between Larry or Harold, it seems. His dear mother. It might be a family name. Who's to say? His question is Cottonelle or Quilted Northern?
Typically, I would buy whatever's cheapest at the store, but I am literally drowning in both of them right now.
Yes.
Someone, who knows who, decided to send me like 400 rolls of toilet paper.
Well, let's start from the beginning. Before your wedding. And I think there's probably tape on this of us agreeing not to get each other wedding gifts because we both had to travel quite some ways. And then a guitar freaking shows up at my doorstep, like a very, like actual guitar, an acoustic from Tom for my wedding as a gift, which was a breach of contract as far as I was concerned. But Tom had warned me about this a few days earlier. Like, I'm getting you something. I don't even care. Like, I'm going rogue. I'm just a crazy person. And I'm just going to, like, make you deal with my kindness. And that's going to be your life for a bit. And I didn't know that he was going to get me an actual gift that was thoughtful. So I don't know why I instinctively ordered so many dozens of rolls of toilet paper to be sent to his house. But I figured it would at least be one of those things where months later you're like, cool, we've, not had to spend money on this particular thing for a long time now. So
I'm pretty excited, man. Also,
I hope they're good brands. That's one of my pet peeves is using the facilities in public and the ply is off or something. There's something to be said.
You've sent, I think it's both Cottonelle and Quilted Northern, and I saw in the boxes it said Maximum Plush, so.
Oh. Sounds good.
Something good. If you sent me like 400 rolls of Scott, I'd be really disappointed, though.
See, I didn't know Scott. That was my latest grocery store flub. Was accidentally like, oh, Scott, that's a good one, right? Like in my head, I couldn't remember the commercials, and I was, immediately 2 days later, I was like, I've failed this house. I failed this family crest.
Did you get the little rip and the finger goes up your butt?
That has not happened yet. But you almost have to
definitely
triple
never
up
happened to
sometimes
me
instead
either.
of double up. It's anyway. I didn't expect to go this. Well, thank you, Larold, for taking us down this path. It's made for a lovely morning as we sip our coffee here. Anyway, my biggest fear was doubling up on a brand that wasn't good, so I got you a little bit of each, and I'm glad it came in 2 separate large shipments.
Yeah, dude. I got a box of like I think it was like 60 some rolls. And I was like, okay, that's a manageable amount. And then the next day, like 2 more boxes showed up. And the UPS guy was like laughing as he handed me these like 2 massive boxes over the fence. Oh,
Well,
God.
Did you and Megan at least get a chortle out of it?
I thought it was funny. Megan was like, okay, we got a lot of toilet paper.
Okay, so she was not amused. Damn it. All right. I was hoping she would laugh. Also, my mother over the phone the other day was like, Tom's wife, so nice. I was like, I know.
Can I just say, though, about the guitar?
Yes.
I don't know if you saw the receipt from that, but it is a comically inexpensive acoustic guitar.
It sounds pretty good. Like you said you've used it throughout college. What was the brand again?
It's a Rogue guitar. Actually, you said that I went rogue and I bought a Rogue guitar.
Oh, I didn't even mean for that. That's a couple puns so far. Like we're just rolling right along.
So this guitar was sold out for like 6 months because it's literally like under $50 for like a full-size acoustic guitar. So I wanted to get it for your wedding and it was sold out everywhere. And then I think it was the week before it came back on sale. And that's why I asked you when exactly you're going to be out of town, because I didn't want it to show up when you were out of town. And it would have. So I didn't buy it, and then it sold out again. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not getting it. It's going to be sold out for months and months. Then I got an email being like, it's back in stock. So I just went ahead and bought it because I knew it wouldn't last more than a day. And I'm sick of you not doing things on your New Year's Eve list. So I think, if I remember correctly, all you have left is to make a sauce since you went ahead and got married.
Was the guitar on it?
Yeah, for like 4 years.
Oh. Yeah, when I left Albuquerque, and this is one of those things where it would have been worth just getting one of those pods and shipping a bunch of stuff. I had a good bike that I had bought, like a road bike from somebody in Albuquerque, and I had spent like, put some money into it to get new grips and new whatever, new wheels, whatever. And I liked it, and I ended up just selling it for like $100. And I sold my guitar to my old roommate because he liked it, and he had bought me a stand as a gift, and it was like, just keep it, knock it off, whatever my deposit was. Or, we squared it away when I moved, mostly because I just didn't have room in my car. But in hindsight, also there was like a nice queen bed that I had found on Craigslist in Cleveland from this guy in Cleveland Heights. It was like super lightly used, and it was only like $100 with the stand and whatnot. Anyway, in hindsight, if I would tell a younger me, just ship it and keep the things that you like. But this Rogue, it sounds pretty good. Like you said, for those looking to get into trying guitar out, it's not that deep of an investment to get a nice little sounding thing to see if you like it or not, I guess. That would be it's nice. I like it. Thank you for the gift. It was very thoughtful. And I'm sorry for all the toilet paper and if it caused any rifts in your household.
Well, I would love to buy you a Martin or something, but I'm about $3,000 short of that. So
I would not be able to appreciate it because I don't know what that brand is or means, and I would still play the same 3 songs on it. So
yeah, I thought about getting really selfish and being like trying to justify buying myself a really nice guitar and then giving you my old one because it's still like a pretty nice guitar, but I didn't want to spend that much money on a guitar that I hardly ever play to.
There's a Yamaha that my dad got me when I was a kid that has to be in Zach's old parents' basement or something. It's somewhere. And I don't know where that bass ended up either. There was like a Fender jazz bass. So there's been some instrument trading through the years. Anyway, thank you very much. And yes, also, again, apologies. But hopefully the TP is weirdly helpful. Did you get the letter as well?
I got that yesterday.
Okay. I was hoping it would come before the first shipment of TP. But
it was so fast.
Yes, it did happen. It did happen rather quickly.
It actually happened in between the 2 shipments, so...
Oh, gotcha. Man, I was hoping it would come off as more charming than that, but again, I didn't realize that your gift was going to be so good, like in comparison. It's like,
it's not that good. It sucks. It's stupid.
Oh my God, Tom. I was thinking about ways to start the show last night when I was going to bed after we tried to record the first time, and I was like, hello, everyone who's joining us for the first time. We are 2 very good friends who are just going to start apologizing to each other over the course of the next hour. This is reminiscent. I didn't figure out the right verbiage or what I wanted to say, I also forgot. But anyway, that should be our intro from now on. Sorry, Tom. Sorry, everyone else. And yeah.
So let's get into the wedding. There's a lot to talk about.
I forgot that this is the post-wedding episode.
Right, 20 minutes in.
Right. Well, it's nice to start with a mailbag, mix it up a little bit. So we had written down Zark party, which in my head seemed funnier at the time, but now it seems a little twisted.
I think it's pretty funny.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll call it the Zark party, even though I don't even know if it was technically. So if you haven't listened to the show, my wife is from Roland, Oklahoma, which is
oh my God,
like a 5-minute drive, if that, right over the border from Arkansas into Oklahoma from Fort Smith. So the wedding was in Fort Smith at a place called Adelaide Hall. It was, I kind of want to hear your perspective, at least in terms of, we try to make it as easy as possible for people to fly to Fort Smith and get an Uber and then not have to use a car for the rest of the weekend, which hopefully that's exactly how it worked out for the guests.
Yeah, we ended up on the same flight as Zach and his wife Ellie, which I think you had mentioned, like, it might be a full flight or a flight full of your
I got a
party.
few texts that Friday afternoon about like people like, wait, I think I just met your cousin Julie, and also is Josh Whitmer on this flight? Just like recognizing old coworkers and friends and stuff. And you sent me a text of just a person staring back at you from across the aisle, and I zoomed in to find that it was Zach's face. It's like, oh, that worked out, didn't it?
Yeah, so we flew in together. We were able to catch an Uber together, and I think it was at the Denver airport. The Ubers can't like hang out and wait. So as we were walking out the door of the airport, I summoned a car, and it was like, boop, your car's here. And he was like 5 feet in front of me. And I was like, everyone thought it was like magic. They're like, what? How'd he get here so fast? And I was like, no, he was here the whole time. I'm the one who got here.
It's like that movie, The Prestige. It's like, no, he's had a twin, and he's been in the closet bouncing the ball. Sorry to anyone who hasn't seen The Prestige yet. It's really good movie, even though I just ruined it.
So we got there, and super quick cab ride, and then everything was within walking distance. I forgot what humidity felt like, so I wished I packed more shirts. But yeah, it was super convenient with everything being within like 3 blocks of each other. So I did appreciate that.
Did you go to the Bordello?
What's that? Oh,
Miss Laura's, their tourist center for Sebastian County, Arkansas.
I didn't.
It was nice. I toured the first couple rooms. It was one of the few that didn't burn down along the river in their old red light district. But it's a nice little town. Although you said you went on a hike in the mountains. We can do a quick run through of some of the stuff that went wrong. Someone did try to save you at the farmer's market, right?
Yes,
like in a religious sense. And you did not engage, it sounds like.
Oh, no. We were engaged and could not become disengaged. It was about a half an hour of this dude. I don't want to get too deep into it, maybe for another episode, because I can spend 20 minutes on everything.
But of course.
All the angles of it. But
tricks on you, everybody. This is a religious show. We've just been waiting 95 episodes to really dig deep on it.
So that was definitely a really frustrating. That was the morning before the wedding. But we did buy a really nice like handmade cedar stool that
Jessie
day.
was walking out of the hotel the morning after the wedding, and you guys were just holding a stool. And she's like, how are you gonna, like, they'll figure it out. I don't know.
We checked it. It was only $25.
Oh, what?
It got pretty dinged up on the airplane, but I used to be a woodworker, so I can figure it out. And then, we went for a hike the day after your wedding, and I'll say that the poison ivy is clearing up. And
did you walk through weeds?
I guess so. I'm the only one who got it, and it was
because you
not
were going
as bad
through
as
the list of things that made your weekend frustrating. And I was like, in theory, that could have happened anywhere, but I do hate that you had to endure some of these things.
Right.
For sure.
So I don't know if any of our listeners have ever had the experience of looking down at your shoes and not being able to see them because they were covered in hundreds of tiny little ticks. That was a nightmare. I mean,
how long were your socks?
They were short ones. So Megan, Zach, and I had ticks. We're finding ticks on us for like days. Just completely covered.
Where was this? Where was the hike?
That was during the Zark party, dude. We went on this hike after the wedding.
Oh, you drove northeast?
Yeah, I rented a car and we drove into the mountains.
Like towards Eureka Springs, I think it is, or maybe or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a couple people from the wedding. One of my friends from college thought it was on Sunday. So he took Monday off work and got in to town like Saturday mid-afternoon. And one of my other friends texted him like, hey, man, do you want to walk over together? Like, to what? It's like, it. And he was like, yeah, dude. So there were some people, and my friend Kevin, one of the groomsmen, and one of my friends from New Mexico also had taken Monday off to just kind of relax and kind of use it as their own vacation as well. So there was a few people that just kind of hung out and continued the Zark party. And went up to Eureka Springs and stuff, which, did you find the area to be beautiful?
It was very
Despite
beautiful.
Your hiking troubles.
And when we were in the woods, I was like, these are the kind of hikes that I like. You're covered in the trees. There's water on the one side. Like in Denver, when you're hiking, it's just like, it feels like you're walking down an open dirt path with the sun beaming down on you, which to some people sounds great, but it's just too damn hot. So being like in the trees was nice. I really enjoyed it. It was great hanging out with Zach and Ellie and Megan and all them, and took some nice photos and went down on the water, put our feet in. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. They seemed bubbly that weekend. Everybody, it was like the vibes were, I would say bubbly. I think that'd be the word.
Yeah, for sure. I got to tell you though, the biggest upset from the wedding was I told you I bought a bunch of floral shirts and ties in anticipation of the wedding.
Yeah, I believe you posted to Facebook about it as well.
Yep. So I bought a white shirt with a blue tie and a blue shirt with a white tie. And the day before the wedding, I decided I'm going to wear the white shirt with the blue tie. And the day of the wedding, I'm getting dressed. I'm at the wedding before everything goes down, and I'm looking at myself, and then I realized, damn it, I put on the blue shirt with the white tie. Just not at all what I decided I was going to wear. So then the rest of the night, I was like, this isn't what I want to be wearing. And of course,
feel like
super
after
minor.
Doing the show for a little while with you, that would be like the most Tom story of all time. Like, just like you could have just worn the clothes that ended up on your body, but you decided to be upset about it or something. Like, oh man, how'd I end up in these clothes? I don't know, just like I don't even understand this scenario, quite honestly. But everybody was dancing. It was I guess we should back up a touch. One of our friends from New Mexico, a reporter who now works in Dallas as a reporter, he was the officiant. And we went to the Sebastian County Courthouse / City Hall to get his marriage license. It was kind of cool. Some of the people's cards with cash in them ended up coming in handy because they took cash for the actual wedding license and stuff. So
right, yeah.
It was like in the thank yous, it was like, yeah, you actually helped buy the actual license. So that was awesome. Thank you. But he was there and he's like, so, he's kind of a boisterous fella. Or a good speaker, I should say. And he was like, so I can just marry anybody in Sebastian County in perpetuity? And they were like, that's about sums it up. And somebody was there and just like, you can marry us. They're like, yeah, good one. Cool. Walls, And they're like, no, I'll give you $20. We actually, it's harder now because they moved the court. I'm going to forget the word escapes me, but it's not in-house anymore. They had to drive down the block to get the actual court stamp or whatever. Gotcha. So he was like, you'll save us the trip. Here's $20. He's like, no. Like, I'll do it. If this is still an elongated version of the joke, I'll do it for sure. So they went to the restroom and powdered their noses, and
oh my God.
Matt stood in the middle of the Sebastian County Courthouse and got a little practice in on Friday afternoon, like no more than 7 minutes after pulling into the hotel parking lot. And he married them, and I was taking photos the whole time on the woman's phone. And she started to cry, and it was just like this weirdly powerful moment real quick. And then Matt was like, I'm actually kind of glad I did that because I had all this stuff written down, and I was able to kind of run through the words and stuff. And he was like, I wanted you to be my first. I was like, no, I'm glad you practiced. Which ended up sounding different than what the situation had called for. But,
that's so funny.
And then he went to one of the breweries across the street and proceeded to get a little toasty for the rehearsal dinner. So, but everything went, I guess, weirdly well. You kind of brace yourself for some mini I guess, disasters. I don't know. Movies and TV lead you to believe that there's going to be something that goes awfully wrong, but
In my own wedding.
oh, I thought yours was charming as hell. Actually,
Oh, well, that's good. Well, yours, I mean, I really enjoyed yours. Everything seemed to go super smooth. Everyone seemed to be having a really good time. The food was great.
Yeah,
The water tasted a little weird, didn't it? But other than that, everything was.
I was mostly drinking alcohol, I will admit. No, it helps that Jesse's family is just over the moon, or that's not the right phrase, really nice. They're just great, incredible.
Yeah.
And her mom was super helpful, and so was mine. And they like text now. They're like buds. And there was no, it was just like everyone there involved wanted it to go well. So there was no like weird cosmic forces working against it in any way, you know?
Right.
So the seating chart ended up kind of working out, I think, hopefully. You know, you guys were kind of at a goofy table, but hopefully that didn't hinder your spirits too much. Because there was a little bit of like bridal party overflow at that table, I remember.
No, it was great, man. I was sitting next to Jerry having a good time talking about podcasts. And yeah, it was just awesome. Yeah, it was just. Everything was super, super pleasant. And
I was worried that it was one of those, like, we're doing the ceremony in the place where the reception is going to be. So I was like, are people going to be okay with being in this room for that long? And it was a pretty typical, like, DJ inside space. I was like, there's a lot of ways that this could just totally end up being pedestrian. But the DJ ended up setting lights up around the whole place. And the way he lit it.
Dude.
And the DJ was actually really good. It was somebody Jesse knew in college.
I wanted to bring that up because, yeah, they had uplights all over the room. That was just like a nice shade of purple. And then when the music started, all the lights started changing too. And that totally surprised me. And it just like really set the vibe of the place. But also, it made me really wish that we had a DJ at our wedding because, you know, we picked these songs that we thought would be fun. Some of them fell a little short. But what I noticed at your wedding is that he could kind of read the room and adjust accordingly. So he played Get Low by Lil Jon, and every girl on the dance floor left, and it was all dudes. So after the first chorus, he changed it up and put Usher on. Then all the girls came back, and it was like, man, that could have been, you know, 2 more minutes of the women not being happy. So he was able to adjust, and I just thought that was like super professional. Like,
yeah.
It was impressive.
And also,
yeah,
I could kind of see where, like, if you're a couple beers deep or a few and you're like early 2000s mind is getting jarbled, you're like, wait, I thought is this Yeah? You just assume it's Yeah based on the 2 artists you just mentioned. You're like, oh, I forgot there was an Usher part coming up, or you know, just like a picture out. The DJ just kind of subtly confuses you in a weird way. But no, the 2 things we kind of splurged on were the DJ, which I wasn't totally convinced at first, although I was just, I don't know, every party I've ever been to in my life, when I've ever tried to play music, it has worked actively against the vibe of the party. So yeah. I was like, I'm not going to ruin your wedding, Jesse, I promise. So take this out of my hands. Jesus, take the wheel. And yeah, it was somebody she knew in college. It was his first time traveling so far from Norman. So we splurged a little bit to get him to travel, but it ended up working out. And then flowers were the other thing that we kind of went a little over budget on, but it ended up working out.
Looked really good.
And then Vancouver was, that part was really nice too. We just went up there to Canada and had ourselves a time.
Before we move on to that, I want to say one last thing about the wedding, if you don't mind.
No, of course.
Well, first of all, I think it might have been Dave Hall after the wedding, and he was like, I'm just thinking about it. I think that might have been the first non-Catholic wedding I've ever been to. And it was so short.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we didn't even have to kneel. Like, we could just sit there.
It was, hopefully it didn't feel too short. But
no,
yeah,
Jay Gordon was like, that was the perfect length. Like, it was between 10 and 15 minutes. You got the important stuff out of the way. It was super nice. And then you walked out, and the whole time I was freaking out, dude. Like, I was crying. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is crazy. Like, I felt like more emotional at your wedding than
I know.
my own.
We talked about this on the pod a little before, but I feel like you definitely were more emotionally invested in a weird way. And, or like we were more invested in each other's. You were like, oh, my wedding, it rained. I'm like, dude, that was a moment back there. And like at my wedding, you were just like, dude, it's happening. So if we could transfer There's some
Also,
like sci-fi thing where we could put like spaghetti bowls upside down on our heads and transfer the vibes to each other. Then we'll have fully experienced each other's weddings, even though we already have.
I also put way more effort into my outfit for your wedding, which is why I was really upset when I put the wrong one on.
I actually put more effort into yours as well. Getting the shoes and getting the groomsmen ensemble, because we ended up doing that. It's called Gen Tux, like suit rental. I was so worried that they were going to be like, everyone's going to know, and just like point out the suits as a bad part of all of this. But they ended up looking pretty sharp, I thought. So
I liked it. It had it was kind of reminiscent of like a 70s vibe with like the color of blue, like the kind of polyester. I loved it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, we'll get the photos back. There's some on Jesse's Facebook.
Yo, and they look good too.
I'm glad. They look really good. That was one of my biggest fears, because early I was like, let's just buy 4 suits. And, like if you're splurging on the DJ, let's buy 4 suits, And Jesse was like, well, we super don't have to do that. I'm like, you are correct. And once I saw the price tag, so.
Also, her dress was amazing, man. She looked great. Like, you look great. Yes. Everything was really, really awesome.
She was, my aunt came up to me and she was just like, could you have a more beautiful bride?
Right.
Before I even had a chance to respond, she was like, no, the answer's no. I guess she walked up to Jesse and was like, you look stunning. Stunning. And
she's right, man.
She's right. No, she's a bit theatrical at times, but she's correct in this instance, of course. Also, Matt, do you think he handled the ceremony pretty well? The officiant?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Matt, our listener.
Oh, no. Well, how's it going, Matt?
Hey. Yeah, you can definitely tell that he was like an announcer or broadcaster, you know, like.
I was so worried that it was going to come off as too, well, I don't know that he'll ever hear this, but I was like, we didn't get a person who does it for a living, obviously. So I was like, I don't know if there's a fine line between seeming car salesman confident and just like good. And I think he nailed it. It
was good. It was good.
It wasn't it wasn't too much of a stand-up routine, but it wasn't too sappy either. And he kind of told our story. I thought it was good. So
it was a great story. Yeah. I love that he kind of told it from his perspective as you two met at the station, and just kind of the vibe when you two were around. It got me. I was a wreck at your wedding. It was great. It was really great, man. I wish I could relive it. I had so much fun.
Yeah. My aunts were dancing. Anyway, we're both married men now. Listeners who are, for whatever reason, torturing yourself by listening through every episode starting from episode 1. You've made it. We are here. We're nearing into 100 when the episodes are going to become a touch more structured, I suppose. Yeah. I think the topics we have lined up are Haley Williams and Elon Musk. Are those 100 and 101?
Sure.
Or 99 and 100?
We'll start at 100, yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty excited for both of those, actually, because I just listened to the Elon Musk Joe Rogan thing for the first time. And not that I plan to listen to it for a second time, but there are thoughts. I have thoughts. Anyhow, we went to Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Go side the Queen. And it was just a delight. It was really nice. There was this Capilano suspension bridge hike thing, and there was this Grouse Mountain thing that we could have taken the tram up, but instead we decided to do the Grouse Grind, they call it. It's like 3,000 steps up. And we got super sweaty, and we saw the pictures of the old Olympic, like pictures of NBC talent like Jimmy Fallon and stuff at the top, because they had hosted an Olympics, I think, in 2010 or something, a Winter Olympics. And there was this bike ride around Stanley Park on this thing called the Seawall, which was like you could have fallen into the water super easy, but luckily we didn't. And we ate. We went on food tours and drank. And the first hotel, the Sylvia Hotel, was just kind of on the water. And we would, kind of wake up, go down to their restaurant in the morning and have coffee and look at the boats and stuff. And it was just a delight. Yeah.
Have you guys been on a vacation before where it's just the two of you? Like you're not with other people?
That's a good question.
Just the two.
I don't think in that way where there was not another thing. Like we've gone to weddings, and your Vermont wedding was so beautiful and in a place we'd never been before that it felt like a vacation because it felt like we were just out of bed and breakfast with our friends.
Right.
And again, your wedding was lovely. I can't stress that enough.
Thanks.
I feel like for some reason there's a joke. No, it was gorgeous. So that it felt like a vacation, of course, but there was also another thing to do. Like there was a reason we were there. So
And
to
other
answer your
people.
question, I don't think we've ever like been like, yo, let's just go, dude. Let's get on our bikes and just go.
Isn't it amazing just to like just the two of you in a place where you don't know anyone or know
Yeah.
anything? It's
Yeah, we
insane. It feels so adult.
yeah. So like the main city core of Vancouver is on this like little thummy peninsula. Like it's a huge city, of course, but like the main part where most of the tourist stuff is more or less. It's like you're never walking 2 miles in any direction, really, like to get to the far reaches of each part of that little peninsula part. So we pretty much just walked everywhere, and like that made us feel better about eating a lot and drinking a lot. And I don't know, it was like a kind of an active week, but also kind of an indulgent week. And one of the nights we were like, what are you, like, you know how you never want to take a nap after like 6 p.m.? You know that Sunday evening nap that always ruins your sleep for Monday and you're thrown off for the rest of the week? We had one of those on like a Wednesday, but then just slept more. It's just like, you want to just go back to bed? It's like, yeah, cool. It's like, well, I got nowhere to be. I ain't driving. But yeah, it was something else. And we were honestly, because of the wedding sleep schedule, like we totally crashed Sunday night, and we ended up just kind of being in bed by pretty much 10 and waking up by like 7 a.m. every morning. So like our days were super full and like productive, except for one night we got after it a little bit, I will say. But we went to Gastown and kind of bar hopped and met this nice old dude who was just kind of had lived there from the 70s on kind of, and he was telling us all kinds of cool stories, and it's like, oh, thanks, sage old like spirit guide. This has been lovely. And I don't say that with any joking tone at all. It's just like, I don't know who you are, but you just made this trip better in a ton of ways.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. Just like almost comical, like with like a goofy old hat type thing, you know, like like essentially clicked his heels on the way out the door. But that was cool. And in a weird way, it was nice to. Passport has been on my New Year's resolution list for a while.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was nice to, in the weirdest way, get some Canadian money or get some money that isn't American money and spend it. I don't know why that was. I know it was only technically like an hour drive north of Seattle, but still, it felt nice. And it was very gorgeous. It was very cool.
Megan and I were looking at moving to Vancouver when we were deciding between Denver and Seattle and Portland and
Yeah, it's the Pacific Northwest is lovely.
Yeah.
And Jesse was like, man, I wish our parents lived there because I would go there for sure.
Do you think that that's like a vacation you'll continue to do?
Ooh, I don't see why not. I'd like to share it with others next time, maybe. Although, unless it was like a anniversary of an anniversary or something, maybe where we just went alone and redid our honeymoon or something.
Well, I told you, man, there were like $200 tickets to Vancouver. I could have been there.
I don't know
with
if
you
I told
guys.
Jesse that or not, but it's like if you just would have been in the same hotels we were in. Like if I gave you the lowdown on where to be, it's like, wait, what?
What a coincidence.
Yeah. Hey, yo.
I could just see me like 2 rows behind you on the plane, like ducking out of you.
Me like being too polite to be like, I mean, it's our honeymoon, so we'll see you later, guys. Be like, yeah, I just want to come with, and Jesse giving me a stink eye.
We're going out to dinner. You guys want to come?
Yeah, it writes itself, and it would have gone down exactly like that. And then Jesse like being super nice and having to be like, I just thought like maybe we'd have a little time to ourselves on our honeymoon. The most reasonable request ever. Like, no, you're right. We should totally do that.
That'll be the next book. Ron Carnage in Honeymoon for Friends.
Yeah, that's right. The Honeymooner's Remorse or something. A Ron Carnage story. But
Oh man.
Yeah.
So what was the most fun thing that you did, or the best part, or coolest place?
I don't know, man. The grouse grind was rewarding because it was so physically taxing, and we had just like, you can get Molson in Erie, but it was an oddly rewarding Molson. Beer,
yeah, I can see that.
which is the equivalent, I'm sure, of 10 different American stateside beers, but it has the leaf as their logo and stuff. So it's just like, I'm going to drink this Molson and I'm going to like it, just super sweaty.
You were sending me a lot of photos from the honeymoon, and a part of me was like, don't respond, Tom. Let them enjoy it.
Well, I knew
didn't
you
ask
had
for the
wanted
photos.
So what was interesting was I was in airplane mode the whole week because I was afraid to get charged. But I think T-Mobile lets you do Canada stuff.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so every time I had Wi-Fi, I'd do a photo dump on pretty much you and my mom, and I'd send a few to Jesse's mom and sister because her phone she didn't use it all week for the same reasons.
Very cool. Yeah. Do you have photos from the top of Grouse Grind, or are those what you sent me?
I think what I sent you was a very foggy looking forest. So what was kind of, I don't know if it was comical in any way or not, but we hiked 3,000 steps up, right? And then it got like super Stephen King-y towards the final third of the hike, like just thick foresty fog, very like wet, like, water on all the logs and everything. And of course, the fog the clouds had moved in on the mountain that day and you couldn't see down at all. So we just we're cool, we're up here. Let's look down, everybody. It's just like a thick wall of fog everywhere. You can't see anything.
That happened to us the day after our wedding. We did a hike in Vermont. I don't think you were there, but Zach and Ellie were. And we got to the top, like the big view payoff, and you couldn't see like 5 feet in front of you. So
it's a shame.
Yeah. I think the worst part is you didn't have an Apple Watch on that could track how many calories you burned.
If I had to guess, it would have been a solid 350.
350 calories?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it was a hefty amount of exertion for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was.
not my vibe on a honeymoon.
I want to take the clip of audio of me saying it was a hefty amount of exertion, and you just suddenly saying very cool, and have that be the show intro from now on. In fact, if you don't mind replaying it right now, it was a hefty amount of exertion for sure.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of enjoyment to be gotten out of that clip. Anyway.
So what else do you want to talk about? I mean, I feel like
we're at 50, so this is bonus time here.
I feel like we didn't get super into anything, and I'm wondering if I should apologize.
No, I mean, we're saving up for the century mark when we're going to pivot a little bit and do more of the segment topic stuff. We were going to touch on the etiquette of gift buying, but who cares? I don't ever. You bought me a guitar. I didn't think you were going to do that, and I got you toilet paper, and we both feel bad about it. I don't know, whatever. Or you probably don't feel bad about it, but I feel dumb for sure. Because I don't want to be viewed as cheap, because we had let's not get each other gifts. And I was like, cool. And I feel dumb for taking it seriously in a weird way.
No, I don't remember that truce at all.
Well, we were like, I was getting ready to come to your wedding. We're like, no, dude, you don't have to get me a gift. I'm like, well, don't get me one for mine or else. It's like, because I'm going to feel real dumb for not getting one. Because only, I don't know. We were just talking about it. I was like, I got to get you a gift. And you were like, dude. Like you insisted, if I recall. Or maybe it's just in my head I wanted you to insist. I don't know.
Well, getting to Vermont wasn't cheap.
Yeah, neither was getting to Fort Smith, though. In my head, there was an agreement of some sort. So when you got me the guitar, I felt a touch foolish and a bit cheap. I was like, I should have gotten my friend a wedding gift, of course.
Naughty.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was, if there was any disdain at all, it stemmed from my own stuff. So
I'm not worried about it. I didn't get you a gift to get one in return. So
right, but you can see where I'd be like, come on, man. No, if we were doing gifts, I would have gotten you a wedding present, I guess is my point. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, darn.
Well, I still want to get Jessie something because that guitar's just for you, I think. Unless she wants to play, she can play too. I don't care. Not my guitar.
Yeah, she was actually going to get me one for one of these gifts. So you have spurned her brainstorming process.
No.
No, she likes it. She pulled up the tab for some Taylor Swift song she likes the other night, and we're getting a lot of joy out of it already. So,
what song?
I think it was Blank Space, which is I'm realizing how many chords or how many songs are just the same thing. Like you can learn 5 chords and play so many songs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. She was like, whoa, you can play that really well. I'm like, I didn't at all. But she's like,
that's awesome.
Being better than like some of the population at playing playing like the basic chords on guitar. Like I'm telling you, you could put 4 hours of effort into this and be this good, like be at this level. This is not very much not anything to be to shake a lamb's tail at, which I don't think is the right phrase.
So in our notes, I wrote LD because I wanted to bring something up, but I didn't want you to know what it was ahead of time. And I forget what it means.
I do that all the time. I'll be like,
I was like,
"I'll
Lil
hide this."
Dicky?
It's like, no. Little Dicky. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I have no idea what I meant to say.
I do that all the time. I'll hide something and be like, cool, no one will find this. And then I won't for months. It's like, damn, that was good. I did a good job, but also did not accomplish the task.
Right. Well, one last thought from myself, and then you can give one or two if you want. But
Okay.
I think you told me the day before the wedding that Corey would be there, who I guess the correct term would be my ex-stepbrother.
Something like that, yes.
And you were like, is that weird? And I didn't think so. We live probably 4 miles away from each other on the outskirts of Denver, Colorado. And I just thought it was hilarious that we've lived right next to each other for 2 years and we met up in Arkansas.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. It was super great seeing him again, kind of talking through some feelings from the past, but just having a really good time.
So you guys went there?
A little bit. I mean, brushed on it.
Yeah, just like, we good? Yeah, we good. Something like that.
Right. And just hanging out with him and Dave. And I mean, the first time that I ever met you was before we were friends. Corey had you and Dave over at our house, introduced me to Homestarrunner.
It was an important day.
I just felt like the two of them being there at the wedding was like such a huge flashback to like some really fun times. And it was just really cool meeting up with him. So
I'm glad. There's a lot of
yeah.
good people, good friends. I consider myself very lucky.
Yeah. You got a lot of people.
And you're a big part of that, Tom.
Well, thanks, man.
One of my parting thoughts before we do music recommendations is it sounds like the Ron Carnage rewrites are moving right along.
Oh, yes. I am going to blast through a lot of that today. It's been a slow editing week, which part of that is super terrifying because I was thinking about quitting my job at Tesla next month. So to have a slow week happen is really scary, but I'm going to use it to read through the book. There's been a couple of different rewrites and things seem to be coming together for hopefully a Christmas or thereabouts release of a physical and ebook. We're getting our town map back from the designer. I'll put a little sample of it in the show notes because I am very excited.
Yes.
The photo that you saw was like a super rough sketch. She's like refining it, and it is so amazing to see a visual of the place that I've been reading about for the past year,
Yeah, it remains one of the weirdest, dumbest things ever to be recorded in the English language. But I still find it very cool that this map it's just like, wow, this is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's exciting.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's.
I got a song.
You want to do? No, let's do a song.
Yeah. Unless, yeah.
Do it.
Okay. I will.
John.
Cool Generator by Bad Moves. I was
Okay.
surfing through Spotify, and they have an album out. The band Bad Moves, I guess. It's definitely the album, I forget, Tell No One, I think it's called. And it's pretty low stakes. It's very poppy. It's just super fun. First, like 8 songs are all 2 minutes, 22 seconds or something like that, and they just kind of keep it very fun. It's low risk, right? Low risk, low reward, just like very, upbeat, nice, not even pop punk, but pop rocks or something.
Sure.
I don't know, that's a candy, but anyway, Cool Generator. It's got a nice little beat, and it's something to walk down the street to next time you're having a good morning, I guess.
Awesome. Stoked to hear it. I'm going to pick a song from the Story So Far album, which is,
are you?
Again, what we talked about last week with their producer, Sam. If you haven't heard that episode, it was super different, a lot of fun. Story So Far is one of my favorite bands, and it was cool to hear everything that went into the album. But the title track and the opening song on their album, Proper Dose, is, it's just like makes me want to throw my arms around and like trash everything in my house. Like, it's so good.
Ooh, in a good way. Oh, in a good way. Okay.
Yeah, just like throw the TV on the ground and stomp on it because I'm just so hyped. Which obviously try to avoid doing, but it's so good. The whole album is so good. I've listened to it more than 50, less than 100 times since the release on Friday.
Okay. You've sent me a few tracks. Good stuff. I haven't given it its like appropriate like focus time yet, which I regret. But the few tracks you've sent me have I'm intrigued, to say the very least.
It took me about 5 or 7 spins to like really start appreciating the individual songs, which is usually how it goes, with a new record. But I love it. There's one song that I think is kind of a stinker, but the rest of them are just super good.
Tune in next week to find out which song that is.
Yeah, and maybe you can tune in next week to find out what the LD means. I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Also, if you are traveling soon, go ahead and download our episode 90, Tuscaloosa Butts Slug Butt.
Slug Butt.
It's one of our, I don't know. I thought it was a good one.
Our most shining moment, for sure.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you're going to go back and listen to the interview first. And then if you're like, all right, I'm like vibing this, I'm subscribed, I'll download these episodes. I don't even care. Then
I don't
go
give a
get
heck.
episode 90 and listen to it while you drive to your next destination.
Yeah.
Or fly.
Or fly.
Or boat.
Or boat.
Or train.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh. What?
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Love you, Tom.
Love you too, man. See you. I'll get a cup, let it melt, start up, start up, start
I'll get a cup, let it melt, stir it up.
Oh.
Stir it up.